what is fundamental physics? So, from the particle physics point of view, the ultimate goal is to achieve a unified understanding of fundamental forces and particles in terms of beautiful, compelling mathematical principles. Another very interesting goal, which I won't talk about, is to understand the origin and evolution of the universe. It seems likely that if one had a theory of particles and forces, that same theory should be appropriate for understanding very large as well as small. These themes were pioneered by Einstein, and so it seems appropriate to reflect on them in this centennial year of his general theory of relativity. So there are three important fundamental constants associated with the three big ideas. So one of them is the speed of light, usually denoted c, and this is an important parameter in special relativity. As everybody knows, it appears in Einstein's very famous equation, E = mc squared q. Another very important constant in nature is Planck's constant, h, which has to do with quantum mechanics, quantum theory. And Planck realized that in looking at black body radiation, that the radiation comes in packets of energy, where the energy carried by a particle with frequency f was given by E = hf. So it's another formula for energy that appears in quantum theory. And in fact, this formula played a bigger role in Einstein's Nobel Prize than the more famous and then the third really important constant is Newton's constant, G, which characterizes the strength of gravity, and it appears in Newton's famous force equation for the gravitational attraction between two massive bodies at a separation of r. So when we talk about unifying gravity with quantum theory, what do I really mean? Well, the two things that I really want to unify are what are called the standard model and general relativity. So the standard model, which I'm abbreviating as SM, is a quantum theory, a relativistic quantum theory, that describes three of the four known forces in nature, basic forces: strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, and the electromagnetic forces. And since this is a relativistic quantum theory, it necessarily involves C and H, but it's not. But the standard model doesn't contain gravity, so yes, the Newton's constant does not appear in the standard model. Now, in the case of general relativity, on the other hand, it is, as you know, a theory of gravity which goes beyond Newton's theory. So Newton's version is only the G, but since Einstein is relativistic, it also involves the speed of light. However, Einstein's general theory of relativity is still what we call a classical theory. And when we say classical, what we usually mean in this context is that it's not quantum mechanical. And so this means that it does not depend on the parameter H. So general relativity involves C and G. So if we're going to unify the standard model and general relativity, we would have a theory that would describe all of the forces: nuclear forces, electromagnetic forces, and gravity, and would depend on all three of these parameters, C, H, and G. Now, if one had such a theory, it would be expected to have some qualitative phenomena associated with it, and one can estimate where these phenomena appear just from the information I've already given. But before I talk about that, let me say a little bit more about the standard model and general. So the standard model is an extremely successful theory of matter particles, which are called quarks and leptons, and force particles, photon, light, gluons, which are responsible for strong nuclear force, and some other particles that are associated with weak nuclear forces, as well as a Higgs particle. For many years, this Higgs particle was the only very innocent link 12. Now, the standard model, as I've already said, does not contain gravity, but it has other features which are just somewhat disturbing, and that much of its structure seems rather arbitrary. It isn't derived from first principles, and so we would like to find a deeper explanation for many of these arbitrary features in the standard model. So both in order to have this deeper understanding and to contain gravity. Now, the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, has so far found no evidence of the physics beyond the standard model, but that they continue to do the experiments. So I just remind you that the Large Hadron Collider is a proton collider located outside of Geneva, Switzerland, straddling the French-Swiss border, 8.5-kilometer diameter, and protons going around this ring in two opposite directions and colliding at various intercept points. Here there are detectors to observe their collisions. And it's currently operating at 6.5 TeV of energy in each of the proton beams, so it's close to the design energy of 7 as well, which will probably reach Now, general relativity is a beautiful theory that is the subject, of course, of this field, and it describes gravity in terms of the geometry of space-time. It has successfully predicted gravitational lensing, black holes, gravitational waves, and much more. No discrepancies. But there is one hint in general relativity itself that that is in the solutions that describe black holes. There are singularities, and that presence of these singularities does break down the general relativity. In any case, however you choose to interpret those singularities, it's clear that...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Friday. It is Friday. We did it.
NASA, I just remind you that according to special relativity, massless particles travel with the speed of light c. One of them is the photon, which is the particle of light, which photon
Little
electromagnetic force.
general relativity versus quantum. Help set the mood for Friday. Hope you guys have been working on something fun this week. Please head to the Discord and drop your links if you have not already to get yourself in line. It's mostly first come, first serve. We're going to listen to a track off of Saffron's new album before we dip into what is in the Discord today.
Difference between a photon and a graviton is pretty simple. Photon has
Ha ha ha. Iron Imp is working on a modal toy over there. Yeah. This is fun. Something good. Hola. Welcome in. Alex, welcome in. Udi, how are you? OhmLab, sorry to hear about the hack and ban on your other account, homie. That sucks. Glad you got a burner. Stagger, post your links in Discord. Let me just hit this for you if it has already been done in the chat. Apologies. Head to public feedback in the Discord. Drop your link there. Hey, OhmLab got hired to work for a new Battlegrounds game. Excellent, dude. Big ups. Congratulations. That's awesome. Alex says, this music makes me feel like I'm in a coffee shop. Having coffee and hearing all the annoying conversations people are having around me. Right? Saffron, how are you doing, homie? Congrats again on getting the album out.
This is an important number because this is
Art Lab.
where you would expect qualitative.
When do you start the new gig? Let's turn off this background noise here. And head on over to Saffron's track. We're going to listen to this, and then we will jump into the Discord. I believe Saffron just posted the link to this in the chat. If not, you could do that. Yo, Saf, this album is great. This album is great. We'll hear another one of these later. So many flippin' textures in that one. Iron Imp says, my best compliment on this one is that it is well made and also defies convenient description, but it has a lot of motion and is really interesting. Lou D, you've got a dead left ear right now. I hope it clears up soon, dude. Alex is asking, are you working for Ghost Hack? I have done stuff for Ghost Hack for years, actually. It's true. It's true. They are one of the many folks in which you can go and find stuff from me, as well as Native Instruments and Loop Masters and Noise and ADSR and and Big Fish. So many people, so many places. Been sending a lot of new cinematic sounds over there. Each release in that series is 100 sounds, and each one you watch me make the sounds for those all the time. And I'm also currently working on a big cinematic world. It's a new sound design /_ series that I'm developing. Dun, 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 dun. Saffron says, you just need to like the sounds slowly flow throughout your mind. That's what his music is for, which is good. It's good. I think of it like this. All of that stuff goes in and it kind of you slowly kind of filter out all the good bits. And then they kind of stick in you for a while, and that's why you feel the way you do at the end of one of his tracks. Oh no, Ludi, do not put the pressure washer in your ear. No matter how desperate you get. Excuse me. Oh, I want this stuff to leave my chest. Alex says, oh, that's so cool. I probably used a sample made by you and didn't even know it. Probably. Been doing it for a lot of years, so chances are. All right, let's jump into the Discord and see what we're doing here. Rockan and I have a duel going back and forth here. All right, let's see here. Where are we? Public feedback. Wid is here on Friday. Let's do this. Everything in its right place remix. Someone can give me 3 minutes for a quick option. Oh. Hey now. Wid, it's flippin' lovely. I mean, I feel a bit biased because I go into most of your tracks thinking I'm really gonna like this, and then I do. Um, so it's a bit unfair in that regard. Uh, but at the same time, um, I think mostly you just kind of sit down and craft art is really all any of us should be doing. Um, like if there was just a little bit more dynamic range and a little bit less loudness through limiting, I would love this even more. Um, like having the chance to turn it up just a little bit would feel so great. It does reach uh, limits, I think, in regards to the loudness and satisfaction teetering edge, that balancing point. Only a couple spots though. This is so good. This is so good. So good. So good. The surface texture on everything is out of control. I love the use of noise and saturation. I love all of your stopping points. The filtration and EQ work is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Your mids and sides are balanced. Your palette is unique and yet on par. It's great. It's great. I love what you do. Please keep bringing it. It's good stuff. Yeah, very good stuff. Far Horizon is here. Trem is here. Trem Taz. What's shaking, homie? How you doing? How are things? Trem says, I wrote another jingle, I guess. This melody has been haunting me for a whole month, and I don't even know if it's mine. I've been whistling this shit non-stop. All right, this one's called Rain. Whistle. Little fire for your rain. I really like that. I dig it. And I'm not sure if it's from something or not. I mean, it feels very familiar, but it also feels incredibly comfortable and organic and exactly the way that it should. You know what I mean? Like it follows its own natural course. I think I think if at some point there isn't a portfolio where I can go and just listen to all of the different um, musical ideas that you've created and have ended up in different commercials and stuff, I'm just going to be upset eventually. I know the whistle is nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. I have no idea if it's original. Dude, I have no idea, but it's great. You would absolutely kill it if you were to like make an album aimed at kids kind of in the same playful way that bands like They Might Be Giants and stuff like that have. You would absolutely crush that stuff. Rockhound, Lou D. Let's do this. Can you feel me?
Can you feel me?
Oh.
Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
I can feel you. Dude, this is a fantastic track. It is so, so good. The low end is hypnotic and dominant and not out of control. I really like the dry hat. I also kind of want just a little bit of variation on it. And not like in a wet way, more like in a, did I just hear that right? Way. Like really, really kind of subtle and tight, kind of nuanced touches, like little tiny skip, stutter, degradation kind of stuff would be kind of cool in it. Maybe even just like, was that just a little bit shorter that time around than the one before? You know, just tiny little things to make people kind of listen to it a little bit differently. Just overall, I kind of want to point out that you're giving everything so much space to do its thing in this track right now. And it's great. Like, it's really, really fantastic. Just so much negative space, you know? It feels really satisfying. 340. I'd say after that cool little modulation, after coming back into this second half of the track, I would put probably 2 low depth modulators on 3 or 4 different modulators that are actively moving your synths in different ways. So you start to get things that surprise even you. Let those things run for 5 minutes on auto, grab the little variations that you really like and splice them in here and there. Dude, this piano stab is so good, and I so badly want it to like get broken up into the stereo field with tiny little like glitched granular tiny little things. Not like non-stop, not all over the place, but like just little. Oh, it feels so good with all of that low-end energy in here. Hey, Liv is here, saying, tiny glitchy audio skips with some bit reduction automation, you rang? How are you, Liv? Sending love your way. Aptros 420, I see you. How you doing? Happy Friday to you. Ms. Vici? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly at all. I apologize for butchering the name, but welcome in. I'm good, thanks. Good. I'm glad to hear it, Liv. Syndremic, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. All right, so Nicholas, this is just really fantastic. I really want to hear more like this. And I'm hoping you do something with that piano stab because I really want to come back and hear it. It's a really good one. Really good one. And I hope your ear clears up soon too, homie. Mizuchi, gotcha. Gotcha. U for V. All right, Arthap. Pink Pantheress. Pink Pantherness. Ooh. Ard Lap Dub. Let's go. Oh, no.
If you change your mind, I'll buy the same everything. And the aches and the pains, how I fear is missing now. I belong in your company. Why'd you have those doubts? How many times do I dream of reaching out? I guess.
Oh!
talk to you anymore, speak to you anymore, hang with you anymore.
All right, so this general ambience that has the big wind down at the end, it's creating some obfuscation in the mix in general. So I would say bring it way down until it has its wind down moment and play that back and see how you feel about it. Because my gut's telling me that you're going to hear quite a bit more wonder in the definition of a lot of those other moving bits once you reduce that presence or eliminate it. I'd just bring it down personally. I'd also maybe make a dip in the mids, kind of far spread, maybe between like 400 and 800 or something like that, so it kind of dampens the appeal of the thing, and then you can release that. I'm not talking like a big wet blanket or anything, but a few dB, and then pull that back up as you bring up the volume before that wind down. And I feel like it'll probably feel so much better because there's going to be like this kind of dynamic reveal and then wind down. Okay, so back to the top, just right off the top, just the pace is electric and your finishing touches are great. Your use of compression in your sound design is really ace. I'd add just a touch more resonance on the bass as it's actively modulating. Just don't let it peak up too much as you dip down in frequency. Yeah, lots of really good decision making. How long did you spend on this track? Lots and lots of infectious, like bounce energy in here. And speaking of infectious, I would upset the prioritization of sounds here around 2 minutes. I feel like one, the loudness maximization that you have going on, right? The loudness through limiting, it kind of hurts you in this one moment in that we should, I think, bring the vocal chops up a bit more because they are definitely the most infectious element of the mix in this moment. But the way that it is currently mixed is can be really hard to kind of do that successfully, right? So if you were to back off some of that loudness that's happening through limiting at the end of your chain and instead start using that reclaimed headspace, start using that space for accenting through saturation to really call attention to very specific things in the mix, I feel like you'd really take this whole thing to a different level. That's it. Super impressive. Lots of really good stuff. Good stuff. Wame is here. How you doing? Syndromic says, cool track, would listen again. That's what you want, right? Right? Liv would listen again. 3 hours? Yeah, I mean, that's a serious spot for 3 hours, homie. Seriously. Yeah, go back and finish this one. You see the link in the chat there. There is the anniversary sale still happening over at Plugin Boutique. Not trying to spam you guys or anything, but I do know that a lot of you are on the prowl for stuff all the time, and I'm just thinking to myself, why pay full price for all that stuff if this ridiculous thing is happening right now? So there is a link in the chat for you. That links to, I believe, just the deals page, which cuts past all of the marketing BS, and you can just see exactly what the savings are on each thing. And it's all like deeper than Black Friday discounts on all of the big brand stuff. So you're going to treat yourself, do it at a deep discount. That's what I say. All right, Alex is up. Oh, the one. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. This one's called Metroid. This art is fantastic, by the way. It's fantastic.
Drop the bass.
Oh. Hmm. Okay. All right, Alex. Really great sound. Love the energy, full of sparkles. I appreciate that the sparkles weren't like piercing in any way and got to move around quite a bit up there. 33 seconds in, wanting a short form noise based riser to support that transition. I'm talking just like a little and low dB. Great kind of hyper energy with the ARPs and the modulation running together. There is a, if we go back there, what is that? That would have been like 1 minute. So this is some pretty great energy right there. Okay, so what you can hear here, though, is that the ARP, when the bass is reaching its kind of fever pitch, and it's got all of that extra resonance and compression running on it, that you quickly lose track of the impact that the ARP once had, right? I also feel this same kind of effect happening around 120 and a couple of other spots where you kind of dip down dynamically in here. I think what you could do instead is bring some like more frequency control rather than volume control in this area, right? And keep in mind that the loudness pushing through limiting at the end means that you've had to bring down this section even more by volume, by decibel, than you would have otherwise. So consider releasing some of that headroom through limiting and arriving at it through some saturation or just gain staging on tracks instead. because that will bring a little bit more energy and fullness to the sound in that section of the song. And also just revealing some of the upper frequencies of a handful of sounds while filtering down the rest is also a really good kind of juxtaposition effect for that type of thing. Dun, 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 dun. Really good club energy on this one. Like if we could get a little bit more clarity in the midsection of that song, I think it would carry throughout the entirety of the track and probably get multiple plays. So. Yeah, you bet, Alex. Yeah, absolutely. That's good stuff. Detoxings, Stag. Actually had to take off, but I am curious, so I'm going to hit play on this for a bit. I'm always curious.
I'm still writing, rhyming, hyping, while these bitches stay on the net typing. But that shit could never faze me, fuck that, cause I still gotta stay on my thing. Down for the fighting, you must be lost. Man, just swing this blade, barking. And it's back to the studio, track after track, BK still gliding. 3-5, score 5, my favourite deal. Your girl said Willie's her favourite meal. They'll come beam when you come our side, for the man, them judge me, lot my guys. Bro got the Mac, then it come with fries. Up in the booth, it's me and the guys, gotta lay this down, that's another surprise, cause the fans really know who be on the rise.
Yo, Stag, if you are tuning into the VOD, keep bringing these by. More low-end control. Got to roll up the low-end cut on more elements in your track to kind of reclaim clarity and power and really nail that low end. HH21, Texas Hedging. Forgive the quality for this, but it is a concept. All right, this one's called Easers 2. That was fun. I would like to hear more of that. I think it's got quite a bit of appeal cinematically speaking in that first half before the beat kicks in. You've got something cooking there as well. But this beat is fun. I think that it's missing a thread that should run throughout the entirety of when the beat is active, but not exactly sure what that is. Yeah, I want to hear more of your stuff. What kind of stuff are you normally making? Is this kind of the experimental approach that is your norm, or is this a deviation? I'm curious. I am curious. Ironip says the gated vocals feel almost psytrancey, but the music is kind of leaning a bit differently, which is a cool juxtaposition, but it could maybe use something in there. Even just a snare or something. And Mizuchi says maybe a pad would be nice. Yeah, it's missing a thread that we can follow in somewhat of a consistent way throughout. The reason, or I mean, the cinematic appeal that's present in the beginning would kind of make us tilt in the direction of like a pad or a drone, something that's kind of long form sustained. But it certainly doesn't have to be. I'd love to hear something really creative in there, though. Reverb swells. Egan, welcome in. Yeah, this is some pretty good stuff. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. How long do you have in on this? How long have you spent on this one already? OhmLab. Little ghost production action here. Yeah, I like the reverb swells idea, especially if they're saturated. They're kind of varied over time. I can get behind that. Little filter play over the top. Be good.
Allow me to... Please, allow me to...
Yeah, I dig this hard too, Sush. This is It's catchy. It's catchy. It's got the bounce too. It's got the bounce too. I want the low end cleaned up just a little bit. It feels like there's a little bit too much kind of expansive energy down low, and I feel like it should be tight, kind of more under control. So the other thing is compression is bringing the noise floor up a bit, too much for the dialogue to sit up on top fully. So it's the noise floor of the other stuff, right? It's got a lot of texture and movement and stuff. That stuff can come down in volume, and the dialogue samples that you've got can use a little bit of saturation to generate a little bit more harmonic information so they can actually be heard just above everything else, especially around 1K. Wanting a touch more crunch on those highs above 7K, roll up the low end cutoff to 45 hertz, 12 dB per octave, and then EQ mid-low elements a little tighter down low. And then on the left channel, there's this Foley bit that is fairly repetitive. I'd bring it down by 5 dB and then remove or reduce lows with a shelf from about 350 down or 250 down if you feel like that's a little bit too aggressive. And this EQ mid-low elements a little tighter down low. This could be as simple as changing your curve from a 12 dB per octave curve to an 18 dB per octave curve, or it could be bringing it up from, say, 40 hertz up to 80 hertz or something like that. Oh, and this little just broken noise pan, hard left, right, left, and then right, left, right. It's great. I love the little details throughout this track. That's just one of them. It's good stuff. Little less biased toward the low end frequencies, and I feel like this one is going to feel great. It is a bit weird in a way, but that's good, right? I mean, if it wasn't, I don't think I'd like it as much. Something good. What has he brought for us today? Hola. No band this time. Yeah, where are those yahoos that are usually giving you a hard time right about now? Man. All right, what did you cook up today? Check it. It's going to be ace. It is 1 hour. And 1 second. Sexy. 1 hour and 1 second. Kick back, Far Horizon. This is all we've ever asked for. No Feedback Friday last week, so something good is like, I'm gonna make an hour-long track. You know what? This would be really, really great hold music for, you know, insurance companies and like the people that wait for you to just hang up eventually. But you give them something really, really awesome to listen to, and they're like listening for the loop. They're like, where is it? Where is it? This is super dope. People would call this hotline just to listen to the music. You've got friends over and you call the hotline on, and you put your phone on speakerphone and you just like set it on your coffee table and you know, just like chill and hang out, right? It's good stuff. Got some weather report vibes in this. Trem, this thing is 1 hour because we're always giving him shit for submitting epic, incredibly mind-bendingly good stuff at like 48 seconds long and stuff. Service representative Marie answers the phone. Hello, this is Marie. How can I help you? Can you put me back on hold, please? That was a jam. Yeah, now we'll get a 110-second song from him. Oh my goodness, this is so good. This is so good. I would call again. Oh, wait, did you hear that? Oh. Worst part about this hold system, though, if you do call this telephone line, is that each time they put you back on hold, it starts again. So you have to work your way through the 1 hour, 1 second, and hope that they don't try to help you in that 1 hour so you can actually get through the entire progression. Just to be put on hold. Exactly. So Trem is asking, so how much of this is unique and how much of it is just a loop? Oh, that's so good. Yeah, Dino and another home are going to add to it. It's going to be 3 hours soon. This is going to be so good. We're going to get to the point where we can actually leave it running in the background for the entire stream, just like playing for the entirety of the stream. Maybe we'll be making monster noises or doing an interview with a developer or something. It doesn't matter. We'll just have this running the entire time in the background. Freaking great. Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem being on hold like this, right? I feel like we've stumbled onto something in this stream here. People are upset with the quality of hold music, but if the quality of hold music improved, they wouldn't mind being on hold. So is being on hold all that bad, or is it just being on hold with bad music? It's being bad. It's bad. I don't know. I need to stop talking. Let's get back to music. It's still a 60-minute developing tune. There was this really nice bit over here with this horn synth right here. Oh, that little. Oh man, stream is struggling a bit. That's not good. Dude, did you hear the part at 28 minutes and 32 seconds? 28 minutes. There's a lot of that stuff. All right, so let's listen to Far Horizons. Dude, something good. If there's a 3-hour version of this, we're really honestly going to have like an entire background stream. Like run it for the entire stream. We would have to, right? Have to. Far Horizon. It is you. Hey, can I play that as intro music for the stream? Something good? Never will be. At most, it'll end up as 2 minutes. We need a 10-hour song. Yo, Far Horizon. Okay, first, it's cool to hear a remix from you. And second, it's like super dreamy. It's like not dreamy in the like ethereal pad sense, but dreamy like a dreamscape. You know what I mean? Where there's like really interesting juxtapositions and the transitions were really cool. Really enjoyed the different modulation things you were doing, but I think maybe the thing that I liked most was how you were prioritizing the different sounds and elements in the mix. It was really quite nice. It was really quite nice. Treptide says, I'm not quite sure what this is. Yeah, it was clean. That was good stuff. Pleasing. I think that's what it is pleasing. And did you guys notice? See the peaks and valleys in the waveform there? It's pretty good. Or Horizon says, thank you. Spent a lot of time just playing around with sounds. Yeah, I bet you did. There was quite a bit going on there. How many tracks were in that project? Curious. Iron Imp is up next. Saying, well, since it's Feedback Friday, here's a brutal riff sculpted out of feedback with hindbox lines and a handful of all-pass parallel feedback paths. All right, this one's called Gnarly Feedback Bass Didgeridoo dubstep, right? Trem, that emote says it all, right? That's the nature of feedback. It has to be on the edge. A brick in the washing machine type beat. That's hilarious. Jack, welcome in. Happy Friday. Iron Imp, you'll be happy to know that there is a bald eagle currently circling above outside my window listening to this thing. You've called him here. A didgeridoo step type beat. Ooh. Man, there's nothing quite like feedback. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that whole thing was pretty great. I liked going through that whole exploration. I do feel like if we were to chop this into pieces and bring some of those pieces into a sampler and resample them in different ways, we would end up with some incredibly cool stuff. Incredibly cool stuff. Oh yeah, this stuff is always kind of silly fun to make, right? It's just like slowly turning knobs and seeing exactly how far you can push things. What isn't fun about that? Dude, that was fun. This was with Heinbach's Lines, which I haven't played with yet. I need to. Apterus 2 is here. Realm of Mind. This one's called Veiled. Okay, Aptros 2, this is great. The energy in this is so good. It is so it's like uplifting. Like you feel good listening to this. It feels like the kind of energy that you get when you walk into the arcade and you hear all that and you're like, "Yes, I am here. I'm about to have fun." Bass synth down a bit, square synth up a bit, and a touch more to the right, so it can kind of stand out a bit more like the lead that it is. It should be kind of parallel with that piano, I think. Great arrangement, super 80s vibe. Arcade madness. The snare feels kind of pushed back a bit by the reverb, so I'd switch that to parallel and bring the level down a bit. At 237, you've got these dueling arps. I would bring the snare and the ride cymbal down a bit for them, and then create better separation or greater separation between them. So pan them a bit further apart on opposite sides, farther from the middle, so we can still hear the bass doing its thing too. They're all three in tandem, kind of have to culminate into something bigger than their parts, right? So if we can hear all three of them distinctly, which right now it's a little bit harder to do. And I think we're closer to achieving the goal. And then get their levels balanced. Should be good. This was so much fun. This had so much energy. I want to know how many notes were in this track. How long was this track? 3 minutes, 9 seconds. I would like to know how many notes are in this. It's like getting a word count on a book, you know? Fast math. Apterus 420, you are welcome. And keep bringing them. This was good. This was good. Martin. Is this the one that I heard yesterday? No, it's a brand new one. Okay. The other one's so good, dude. So good. So good. All right, this one is called Coolney Collab Demo Mix. So good, Martin. So good. All right. Dude, these subtle clicks that are kicking right at the very beginning of the track, I love them, and I also kind of want them to slowly or kind of gently increase in presence over a few bars as they intro. I really, really like them, and I feel like it sets the bar for the track. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at these peaks as I'm listening to this intro, and I'm like, nothing hits zero. This is fantastic. This is so good. You know I love dynamics. So. This is so good. Like, it is so in line with the understated vibe that you're going for. I do not appreciate when people put together this really thoughtful, subtle, understated work of art, and then they just maximize the hell out of it. You know what I mean? So it's like as loud like everything else. This is lovely. 107, I really appreciate the no transition there. 123, I think the synth with the higher registered note that just came in. Be nice to hear it on the right just a little bit more. Play with the wet balance on the delay, so it's not quite consistent, those trailing echoes. At 208, kind of want the lead to be up just a tiny bit, or perhaps just a little extra gain add back in the compression on it, I think would feel really nice. Oh yeah. Appreciate you, homie. This one's really tasty. Really good stuff. Oh my, look at this art on Cayenne's track. Ah! What is about to happen here? Okay, if this does not fall under the classification of the Saturday morning cartoon subgenre of the Cayenne music spectrum, gonna be a little bit upset. Do we got a flying saucer keychain? Looks like an atom bomb maybe, or H-bomb. That looks more like a hydrogen bomb, doesn't it? It's fat. That is a fat thing. That's going to hurt a lot. And then we've got cows on one side of the fence. We got these like Confederate soldiers on the other side. These cows do not stand a chance. They have a bomb dropping on them, an alien trying to pick them up, and Confederate soldiers trying to wage war on them. It's ridiculous. Let's go see what happens.
Well, Clay,
Cowboys.
Damn aliens came back, took some more of our cows. The damn lights have been everywhere. I don't know what to do from here, Clay. If those aliens try to come back, it's a war.
Definitely.
Fuck up on my face, bitch, huh? I sold a lot of dope. See my face, bitch. I fuck a lot of hoes. It's a 2-bedroom, but it got a lot of stoves. Stay off in this bitch. I ain't got a home. Smell what's in my blood. This shit is super strong. Got it jumping in this bitch. Look like the Super Bowl. That bitch 220. And told her do a tone. She made a perfect circle. Just pick the cooling on it. Yeah. Bitch, on the bowl. On the stove, not one lazy bone. Don't spend, go home. 2 bands off of O. My wrist, it broke. Hit a lick, go. Need me a bean when I jump on the road. Like I need you, when did you go? So from the 80, I been here before. Part of me, baby, I'm beating the bone. Pray to the fuck and I preach to the stove. Bitch keep calling, she need me home. That slow down while you speeding with dope. Not on the leash, got to keep to the dope.
The humans know too much. They're talking about war. War? We built the pyramids for them. They wouldn't stand a chance. Fine. If it's war they want, then it's war they'll get. Yeah, hello, Mama Tail, yeah. Me biting, say gang, them gang, then again. You can have a chain on my neck for a shot to the head, boy. We just hit the corner, you a bullet, now you're dead, boy. From the on your head, they on your head, that's like a trend, boy. Catch that 416, I'm like fucking 30K, boy. Get the feeling just so I'ma blow your ass like gay, boy. I just feel the sense that you just jumped up on my head, boy. And I'm smoking, but I love it, boy, you still get air, boy. See my cousin did that shit play over in my head, boy. Bitch, I'm fucked up, I go for the streets, but I'm not glad, boy. When I go to sleep, I have a 30 in my bed, boy. You won't know what game when we hit rolling, don't be scared, boy. Never gave a fucking shit, so ain't no mama kid, boy. Ain't no mama kid,
Oh shit, Clay. Clay, the aliens are back. They just landed their damn UFO. They're trying to take another cow. I'll show them.
I'm going to send you aliens to hell.
Don't you let my chain, man. Young Gucci, man, and I'm popping off
Those idiots really thought they could take us on. Their weaponry was no match for ours. Grab the cows. Let's get out of here.
You'd think that aliens would have, like, I don't know, more clever dialogue at the end or something. But no, they're just, you know, it's all about business. It's like we're just here for the cows, you guys. Come on. Stop with the little pop caps over there. Memphis vibe. Yes. Yes. Grab the cows. Oh, that snare was dope. Yeah. Okay, I think we all need a moment after that. Kyan, this one was pretty good. The biggest bit of feedback I got for you on this one is these two pieces here.
Will Clay, them damn aliens.
This
came
beat
back
here.
to-
This guy right here. Down a little bit in the loudness, and then the alien
Yearman's from
right here.
They wouldn't stand a chance.
I think that needs to be like 8 dB louder. It's lower than the rest of the dialogue from the alien, it feels. So yeah. Yeah. Those are the big ones. Dude, that was fun. Freaking aliens, man. Aliens. Mizuchi. We're up. Let's do this. This is great art, by the way. Yeah. More amen breaks. Trem, always asking for more amen breaks. Yeah, this is a great logo. It's fantastic, actually. This art is really good, too. Okay, Mizuchi, this is really good. I like this one. It's got quite a bit of emotion um, contained in it, and I like the hybrid nature of the two styles of instrumentation. Um, I do want this whole thing finished with a couple layers of saturation to really open it all up, so we can feel like we're just falling into it. It feels very, very cinematic, very cinematic, and I just hope that you do finish it in this way, and that it's not just all limiting to make it louder. The kick sounded a bit hard when it first came in, a little bit more so than the rest of the track. I'm not sure if there was like a resonant peak there happening or what, but go back and listen critically to when it first intros. Watch low end management of all of your mid-range elements. Try to eliminate frequencies below 150-ish hertz, all the way up to 350 if you can, on any elements that you think might be contributing to low-end bloat. You want to make sure that you're kind of protecting those low frequency areas for the orchestral instruments for sure. But then when you do start to get those artificial subfrequencies in there, we've got to be really protective of how they're influencing the rest of the mix. So try to tighten up those mid-range elements a bit more. Hopefully it'll clear up more space for you in the mids and get you a little bit more definition too. Because when this whole thing opens up with loudness, it's got to feel like the instruments aren't becoming just this kind of melange, right? We want them to be these defined individuals in the mix. Okay, lastly, just make sure that your sub bass is not triggering your compression. It feels like it might be. Big peaks that can't readily be heard are the biggest killer of clarity and presence in a mix. All right, let's see. I'm falling out. Who's falling out? Were we? Freaking Comcast, man. Freaking Comcast. Which provider of internet service do you guys curse and complain about in the countries that you're from? Kwame, are you here or are you still in a meeting? I'm going to guess that he's still in a meeting right this second. Far Horizon, it's you. And then it will be Kwame. And we got... Oh, this is great. This is great, you guys. I'm glad that it wasn't too busy with new folks today because we've been able to get a couple of extra tracks in from you guys. That's awesome. Your internet is pretty dope. So you never actually have to complain. Man. I should come there. That's what I'm going to do. Let's all move in with Trem Ties. What could possibly go wrong? I'm sure there's plenty of room, right? I did go over your whistle thing. In fact, I kind of want to hear it again really quick because it's super familiar, but I don't know that it belongs to anyone else. I think it is yours. But something I said when I listened to it the first time around that I think you should hear is that I'm going to be upset eventually if someday there isn't a website I can go to where I can just watch all of the commercials that Trem Ties ditties have been featured in because you're freaking so good at it. The other thing I said was, I hope someday you would consider making music that is targeted towards kids in the same way that bands like They Might Be Giants have, because I think that you would actually kill it with all that. But I'm going to listen to this again right now. Make room, Trem Ties. Just make room. We could take the roof off. I know we've talked about it. It's just a dream of mine to be able to tune into all of your stuff so easily. It's just so pleasing. It's just, yeah, it just has so much value to it. You know what I mean? It's got like a preciousness to it. Soothing, yeah. Far Horizon. Old project reworked a little. You know, Trem, that whistle is going to be in my head for weeks. In fact, I think it's already replaced something that's been stuck in my head for the past like 8 days, which has been driving me bonkers. That was cool. I bring the sub channel down a bit. I love the variety of perks. It's quite satisfying for the ears. A shelf on that bass from about 100 hertz down would be great for your kick. Not too much, just like 5 dB, right? The rest of your bass remains completely untouched, so all of the timbre of your bass remains exactly the same. You're just taking the kind of girth of the sub range down just a bit. Trim says, it's funny how the music we listen to can be completely opposite of what music you make, because I never listen to that kind of stuff. I'm all about the disgusting metal breakdowns, blast beats, angry people yelling at me. Right? Yeah, for sure. Like I listen to all sorts of stuff that I do not make. Yeah. Angry people yelling at you. Get back to work type yelling or various types? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, there's days where I want nothing but like just ambient stuff, or there's days where I want absolutely nothing but jazz, or maybe it's a blues day. Alex is back. It's a valid question. Tremtai, Iron Imps is saying, yeah, Tremtais, I do agree with the person, though, that was saying phase isn't important, and so that as their assertion, if it sounds good, it sounds good, and that kind of transcends some genre or engineering theory, but hopefully what can be done with software, hardware. This one's called Pressure. Look at this art, by the way. Like some spectral madness here. Yo, this is fun. The guy talking sample at 28 seconds and then again halfway through. It'd be cool if it went through a little vocoder and if it had a little bit more presence in the mix, if it was just a little bit louder. And also if you remove some of the low end of it, we'll be able to hear it a little bit better. So shave off some of the lowest frequencies, turn it up just slightly, and try running it through a vocoder and see what you think. It's a cool one. Yeah, I like the click-clank metallic bits too. You think it said light 'em and bacon? Not necessarily. Yeah, light 'em and bake 'em, or light 'em and bacon? You are welcome. Yeah, this is so much energy. And the art on this one is like as I'm listening to it, you know what I'm thinking? Electric palm trees. What that reminds. Sushi Monster. See what you've made. Skytech. Light 'em and bake 'em. Sounds like a weed reference. It does, doesn't it? It's Friday. All right, Skytech. Sai! Happy Friday, homie. Yo, I like the dub vibe. I had used some saturation and multiband compression to really open up the mix. It felt a little, not like one-dimensional or like flat or anything like that, but it definitely felt like it was a little narrow, right? If we could hear more of the body and character of the individual elements in the mix, which I think saturation would help with, and a little bit more separation and character, which the multiband compression would really help with. I think those two things combined would really be great. The vocal shots also can come up, I'd say 5 dB. Ah, Tremtai says reminds me of Zev a bit. Yeah, a lot of cool submissions so far, right, Alex? Yeah. Tremtais. Working on some guitar oonts. Scan the area. You bet it, Sushi. Oh, I like this. This has got to be like a fighting game or a racing game. Racing. I want this in a racing game. Yo, dude, I want to play a game to this. Have we talked about, Tremtais, have we talked about Katamari? Have we talked about Katamari? Are you aware of Katamari? Something tells me that you would love it too. It is one of my favorite all-time games in the PlayStation Forward era. You can grab it on other platforms, of course, but it is super simple. You got a little guy, and you push a ball around. The ball picks things up, but things stick to it if the things are smaller than the ball. Pretty simple. And as you roll around, you pick up more things until eventually you complete a level, or you roll up a car or a town or the whole freaking planet or the moon or whatever. Okay, so you're familiar with Katamari. Okay, so I'm listening to this and I'm imagining playing a level where all the people in the town are like running, screaming, ah, and you're like rolling them over and you're like, dun, 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 dun. Can you imagine if they had like metal music, what kind of game it would be? I like your guitar tunes. I know, right? It's a funny thought. It's a funny thought. Who's your keys? Dude, the ARPs. How many ARPs? Imagine metal Katamari. Right? And that you could actively like toggle between the different types of metal. Right? We do. We need a Katamari mod with Doom sprites. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I would love that. That'd be so good. That'd be so good. And Trem could make music for it. It would be, I would buy a subscription to that alt soundtrack, and I would play Katamari more. If I had Trem ties like fueling my role. Yeah. Doom Roller achievement is needed. Yeah, right? We need to reach out to the folks at who does that? Is that Bandai? That's Bandai, right? Yeah. So that's really good stuff. Hoosier. Keys. Let's do it. We got a video this time. I'm going to move this over to the other screen so we can give Hoosier Keys proper respect. Watch this thing. Konami. Ah, Konami Bandai. Yes. This was good. Hoosier Keys. Got a couple things here for you. Little less low end in the reverb across the board. It felt a little bit boomy. And when those lower frequencies hang out in the same space that your mix is still playing in, it makes it harder to hear the clarity and detail of the rest of your mix. The high drone can come down just a touch, just a couple of dB. There should be probably an additional hit at the end of that sub drop for accent. And then everything after that is basically clipping. It's being overdriven in a way that isn't going to translate well on all systems, simply put. So if you want to have kind of a distorted feeling on certain things, I would say like rise into those as like accents, bringing more surface texture, tension, damage to the situation, but leaving everything at that fever pitch is too much for the track. It's kind of telling you that in the audio quality, I think. The Brahms at the end is a bit overkill, says Rokusai. I tend to agree with that. You might want to listen to an A-B comparison of both, right? And see what your gut tells you on that one. Roku will arrest you for mistreating the loves. It's true. And the low end. Oliver, it is you. Feel my chops. tremolo and vibrato. Tremtise says, the thing about this genre of music is that it's basically producer porn. I don't imagine people not into music making listens to this stuff. This is a good conversation piece. What do you guys think? Do you think that people outside of the producer ranks listen to this type of music? My guess is yes, because people do drugs. Oliver, I love the hard stops at the beginning. Pad needs to come down a few. I feel like some of the loudness that's happening in this track is because of that pad. And if you brought it down by like 6 dB or so, 7 dB, 8 dB, it's going to feel like everything else is going to kind of come down with it, I think, in a way. But not entirely. It just needs to fill up less of the middle of the spectrum, I think. I would love to hear this in a big room. The Foley going across the stereo spectrum could use a little saturation to brighten up the crunchy bits up high, so target like 5 to 7K on that. A little overdrive. Very, very little drive added. There were definitely a few oof moments in this one. Impressive stuff. Low end cutoff up to 45 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve, just across the board. Sub channel can come down at least 4 dB, more like 8 maybe. Watch low end on Foley, perks, and other things that you have moving across the stereo field. Same goes for resonance as you twist your cutoff on filters, making things move around. Make sure that you are reducing your resonance as you go down into the lower frequencies. There were a couple of things that kind of flew by. They were a little thick down there. Slightly less distortion on the lowest frequencies, and let it touch like maybe 100 hertz and up instead of the sub frequencies. And I think it's going to help make the entire mix just a little bit more satisfying to listen to. Arcturus, welcome in and happy Friday. Tremtai says, oh yeah, drugs is a good answer to most things, but jokes aside, this was dope. And jokes aside, I would say that drugs would actually be a valid gateway to this type of music for a lot of people. Imagine this. We have all had a moment like this, probably in our youth. We are out of our gourd in some way, and we step into a space, and there is some music happening in that space, and we have not ever heard or felt anything like that before in our existence. And from that moment forward, everything changes. You know what I mean? We've all had that, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting in this room with me right now, right? But there are, I think, people, and in my experience, they're oftentimes low-key folks. Like, they're your low-key friends. They've never made music. They work at a bookstore or a coffee shop or something. They're usually pretty quiet, and you listen to what they have in their earbuds, and it's just like, what? Seriously, though, drugs, I think. Iron Imp says, to be honest, yeah, I mean, I think when I was making Breakcore, it was to show off to other producers who were doing their own thing, kind of like stepping into the ring, and people could watch. Who'd love it if they were full-on Disco Biscuits? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's probably fair to say that that accounts for a large number of folks producing that kind of stuff. Rokusai says, yeah, I bought Kontakt 2, upgraded to 3, then skipped 4, so I had to buy 5 standalone, then upgraded to 6, so that $550 down the drain. I don't upgrade right now, which is, if I don't upgrade right now, which is $50. A sampler that now is the price of $600 without any significance for a composer who just uses it for libraries is way too much. Might as well buy UVI Falcon Ultimate at that point. Yeah, some big feelings. Which libraries aren't working for you, Rokusai? And are they native instrument libraries? Because their new stuff, the way that I feel it's always been historically is it's kind of based on whatever version of Kontakt the instrument was originally made with. So all of their new stuff that they're putting out now, like a lot of it requires their new stuff to run it, which, yeah. Ophi, you are welcome. Or Ophi, if I've said that incorrectly. Ben is here. What's up, Nanowires? How you doing, homie? Tremtai says, never did drugs, but Psytrance and all the rave scenes is full of that stuff. It's true. For good reason. Disco biscuits do need to be a thing. No joke. No joke. Disco biscuit back in the day was a joint in my circle. That's what I referred to them as. Disco biscuits. Smoky biscuits and disco biscuits. Smoky biscuits were cigarettes, and disco biscuits were joints. So there you go. Cheers. That was high school. What can I say, though? Shit was strange in the late 80s, early 90s, you know? All right, so Hegan21 says, Breakbeat reminds me of a scratch tournament in a way. Yeah. Absolutely. Iron Imp says, yeah, I was baked out of my tree back when I smoked and heard Aphex Twin. Man, in 99. And now look at you. No, third-party stuff like the older Spitfire Kontakt libraries, they worked with Case 6. So wait. Hold on a second. So Spitfire updated older libraries, and now those libraries are requiring Kontakt 7 to run? Because if that's the case, that's some jacked up. Like, I would be absolutely demanding a downgrade. That like a give me the install for one update back, please. Because that's not cool. That means that they have now somehow included some kind of functionality. Like, it's great that they want to update a product, but that's got to be a new product. Like, that's not okay. Come on, Spitfire. Come on. Seriously. Nano, I'm doing good. I'm upset for Rokusai here. Like, I am now understanding his predicament, and now I am upset. You should not be upset at Native Instruments. You should be pissed at Spitfire. That's the kind of thing that makes me like make some kind of post publicly on socials, which I don't do. But that's the kind of stuff. Like, that's nonsense. Because they're a company that should know better. Right? I mean, come on. That's like saying, it's just stupid. That's like saying you've got a car and you download an update on your car, and now all of a sudden you can only buy gas at one gas station or something like that. Like, that's just ridiculous. Sorry, but that's not okay. Tremor, are you calling me a boomer? Don't make me correct you. Don't make me pull the internet over, young man. When I was young. Yeah, that's just not okay. Can we do scratch beat as a new genre? Yeah, I think we could. I think that it could be the rebirth of, or like a little puddle jump over scratch tablism, or like Oh, dude. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a little beat idea in my mind here. If you did go in that direction, can you imagine like bringing some of the finger drum and stuff over along? Pirate Contact by libraries. Solved, says Arcturus. Yeah, it's just... See, that's the thing, though, Roku, is that it's not a Native Instruments problem thing, right? The only reason that they've put out a new version of Kontakt is to introduce new capabilities like granular and stuff, right? And if they didn't do that, then we'd be upset with them for not innovating and keeping stuff current. But then the developers need to know the rights and wrongs of developing. You can't go and take something that someone paid for and expected to use and make it unusable. It's not okay. That's just not okay. They should not be doing that. They need to make a downgrade path available to everyone. It's not okay. Happy to use Legacy as well, Roku. Absolutely. Yeah, Spitfire in their faces. Trem. Roku says it's not only Spitfire, it's most of them. See, now that I find that really surprising because like that's it flies in the face of what has been the standard in our industry for a very long time. Like I would get on a soapbox about this one. I would also write support immediately. I would not stand for that. I would get a downgrade. Iron Imp says, so my job was never media composer, but it's why everyone going back to, but why is everyone going back to Kontakt? Were we branching out? Trump says that's why the stream stutters. Chris is still up on dial-up. It's not Comcast. The stream stutters each time I have to like move the little rotary dial. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, Roku, I'm with you. I don't like pirating anything. That's just a stupid move. Like that's something to make mention of on their socials and encourage people to comment and let people have open discourse in a public space about this. Spitfire needs to get their stuff worked out. That's all there is to it. Oh, that's hilarious, Trem. That's hilarious. That's what happens with rotary phones, though, on the internet, right? Arcturus, let's do this. Just sitting here gabbing. You've got a track to listen to. This one's called Begin Again. Arcturus, there's a lot of value in this thing. It's got a really good palette. Got a really good palette. The arrangement's good. The composition is good. I think the transition is going to hit a little bit harder if you create more separation between the loudest elements going in with this riser here. Respect the gazelle. Thank you so much, Paul. So right here, we are basically at a fever pitch level already. I understand that the peak is going to get a little bit bigger, but a little bit bigger is this nominal thing that doesn't, the feels are not there in that nominal difference. And yet it's that last little bit of time in a big sweeping transition moment like this where the bulk of the energy and emotional impact needs to reside, which means the more distance you can travel in that short period of time, the more impact it's going to have, right? So if we can somehow take down, like if we just zoom in on these waveforms right here really quick, if we can somehow make this look like it is coming up, right? We can even dip down here and it can slowly come up and boom, just punch you right in the face when it hits these peaks right up here. So a little bit more dynamic flux overall. The other thing I would point out is that when things are at this kind of fever pitch level, if you listen really, really critically to each of the individual elements in this mix, and over here, what instruments are playing right now? Right, this is the biggest problem with bringing a whole bunch of stuff up together in tandem kind of artificially like this is that it all kind of starts to blur together and you start to lose the voice of the different performances. And I think that that starts to hurt the emotional impact side of it because we're losing focus as the listener. This is not just a you thing. This is like happening all over the place right now. So you're kind of following suit right now, but your stuff is going to stand out a little bit more if you don't, right? So if you don't push things to these fever pitch levels through limiting, that's going to help, right? Finding a different position, a more unique position for the different players involved will help. A little bit tighter EQing will help. The tiny little nuanced changes will help. Rokusai says, exactly, you want to be a wave of dynamics, not a brick wall. That is what gives you more emotional impact. So this is super, super common. And Arcturus, you're nailing it right here. You're saying, I'm used to EDM and unfortunately do not know how to balance the whole orchestra. The whole orchestra is difficult. If you go from like EDM to rock, it's really hard. It's really hard. But to go from EDM to orchestral is really, really hard. Really, really hard. You have to change your entire approach and you can't aim for loud. Impressiveness does not come from loud. Impressiveness comes from full. And the way that you achieve that is by not limiting the potential of all of the things, right? So that's the difference between a limiter and increasing loudness, right? The limiter takes everything up, chops off their head, basically says, you can't get any better than this, but you can get louder. Where when you're not running anything into a brick wall and you're allowing all of their peaks to actually exist as they are, and you're arriving at your loudness in other ways, you can actually feel each one of those individual voices kind of ring and hum in the ways that they're supposed to, right? They're just very, very different than synths and the kind of different, synthetic sounds that we use in electronic music. So just really, really totally different. I would rework this, keep this one, keep this export, go back, take all of your compressors and limiters off, start again, try using simple saturation like overdrive and stuff to make things sparkle and shine in different ways instead. Excuse me, and see how you like the difference between those two approaches. I think that you're going to feel there's just so much more life and depth and separation between elements when you're treating them individually. Kwame's back. Yeah, it is. It's super easy to get oversaturated with all the elements. Absolutely. And Tremtize makes a very good point. He says, but do not touch the composition. Yeah, the only thing you change in this thing is the mix. Don't change anything else. If you've got compressors on things in your project, just remember, when you're working with this type of stuff, you're using compression for two reasons. One is if you've got peaks in your recording that are high and you want to bring them down without having to put a whole bunch of volume automation in there. The other reason is because you've got subtle little details closer to the noise floor than they are to the peaks, and you want to bring those subtle little details more up to the surface. So then you would bring down peaks and add gain back. So now you're like squishing things so you can hear this stuff a little bit better. It's closer to the surface. If you're applying compression for any other reason, then stop. And kind of use that as your kind of benchmark standard as you move through all of this. The other thing I would make mention of is try putting your EQ in front of your compressors so your signals are triggering your compression in a way that you expect them to. Oh, and Roku has just uploaded a quick example. We're going to listen to that just really quick as an example. Actually, wait. Here, Kwame. We're coming. So Roku is an unfair example, but this is what you're kind of hoping for. I'm going to needle drop in a few different spots here. So even at this lower volume, right, we can hear the individual elements that are there, and the only reason is because we can hear where each one of their peaks is kind of creeping up over the other ones, right, and their position, of course, and their timbre. Get up here. So here you've got the unified sound, but again, you can hear the individual voices. That you can actually hear the texture on the strings still. It's a really good indicator that things aren't being kind of forced. So yeah, just totally different approaches. Make sure that your reverb is all being applied in parallel and not in series, and that you're putting in EQ after your reverb, so you're not allowing any of the extra highs or lows out into the stereo or the mix. Try not to limit your peaks. You're going to end up with completely different output. And then I think, main mission, like mission critical at that point, is to sit down and listen critically to the differences between these things, and try to use words that like belong to you, not a textbook, but words that are just going to easily fall out of you. Like, describe that to yourself, talk to yourself out loud, and describe those things to yourself in words that you feel comfortable with, and you're going to start to create just like a natural, organic correlation between these things, and eventually you'll be able to fluidly move between the different like methodologies and techniques involved, between electronic music mixing or cinematic or orchestral music mixing. So, Zane, how you doing? Welcome in. Okay, everybody, we should have a disclaimer really quick. You're about to start feeling some feelings. Might want to dim the lights, put on some slippers, take off your clothes, maybe put on a comfy robe, light a fire, get yourself a nice drink. Oh, Kwame. Yo, Kwame, there's something in that hit that pops off twice in the mix. It's a little bright, harsh, up top, high frequency thing. Roll that off. Dude, everything else feels so good. So good. Your mixes, the last couple have felt like, I'm assuming you're still rocking Ozone over there. It feels like you are starting to really get your legs under you with it, and it's feeling like your stuff is breathing. Stuff is breathing. I'm looking at these waveforms here, dude. This is so great. You've got a couple of peaks. A couple of peaks next to each other. That's it. That's some lovely stuff right there. How are you, brother? How you doing? Doing all right over there? Okay, so these tiny little rolls, the tiny, tiny ones, like the ones that are at the very beginning. That one. The little digi rolls, little. Dude, I want a little bit more of those. And then hear me out on this. Some vinyl cutting. If you're unfamiliar with vinyl cutting, you should be, because now that you've got your mixes so far under control, you could add little details like this to some of your beats, and they would be so welcomed. So welcome. It would be better than vinyl crackle in some cases, I think. And if you're unsure how to get started with it, there's a there's one put out by let's see here, who is it? The vinyl. Kitchen cutting board. What the hell? What the hell is it called? Oh, I know how I can find it. Vinyl carving station. Here we go. So this is from Rattly and Raw. And it's just amazing. They do amazing things. But this is what I'm talking about. Just this tiny little... Here, let's turn off everything else and just listen to this just for a second so you can hear it. And I'm talking like just the little bits. I'm stuck on one right now. Bear with me. It's absolutely worth checking out. It's subtle. You guys have to bear with me for a minute. Just tiny, tiny little bits, right? Tiny, tiny little bits. And then you can shape the timbre or length of them in whatever way you want. But if you have one tool that you continue to turn to for this stuff, then you'll become a ninja with it really quickly. That's awesome. Why does Final Crackle have 64 inputs? They're actually individual little slices. So back in the day, we would make these tiny little cuts, like actual cuts in the vinyl, and we would typically like lay down tape first to get the timing right, like lay out your vinyl in quarters first, right, and start to like layer out these little divs. And then you start making, just like with a little X-Acto knife, you just start making these tiny little grooves, these intentional little skips. And then you play that vinyl back, and it gives you these really dope rhythmic things. It's awesome. But Kwame, specifically for your stuff, now that you've got everything to this point where we can appreciate these incredibly subtle details, I think you could make some stuff really shine with that. Who the hell gets LP bacon sizzle for Kontakt? Did I have an LP bacon sizzle in there? Did you see an LP bacon sizzle? Iron M says, coming back to the whole breakcore thing, I felt really inspired, but never achieved the level of quality on his Someone hit and misreceived 2001 Druck's Duel album. Since it's completely mad, but he was still writing good melodies all in amongst it. Ooh, Saffron says, masterpiece, better than Richard D. James and on a higher level. That's fantastic. Trem says, I call Vinyl Crackle bacon sizzle. That's great. That's some good stuff right there. Hey, we've gained a couple of folks. Let's see what we've got here. Let's listen to them. E463. Is there a cheat code for adding bounce to something that's very scattered? Is the question. This is great. I like the tonality of this, the timbre of it. So your question in regards to adding bounce to highly detuned chorused elements, shaping the modulation LFOs precisely and dramatically. So let's take a really quick look at that. If you were to, say, be working on this inside, let's see here, where are we here? Let's say we're working in Serum. Everybody has Serum. Easy for everybody to see. This is our example. Okay, so when you're shaping your modulators, make good use of shaping, right? And take the time to really, really mold what it is that you need from your sound, right? Timing-wise. Even if they look a little chaotic or something, right? Like the more specific they are, the more accurate they're going to be to your needs, right? So don't plug and play your modulators. That is a big one. What was the other piece of feedback I gave you on that one? Oh, sidechain to ghost elements not heard in the track, which is a good one. Right, because you can affect the timing and the shape of any type of duck to your liking. You can start to play with filter modulation and the relationship between cutoff and resonance and get quite a bit of bounce out of that relationship. You've got options. That snare is huge. Trem, I've used bacon in music and people have not called it not vinyl, so. Zane is here saying, I'm Coffee Bean, mine is a little loud. I went for a nuclear crisis kind of theme. Also, I have experience, but not knowledge. All right. HH21, I hope the tips help you. Coffee Bean. Let's do this. Pandemonium. I'm going to turn this down for y'all. Yo, okay, so it sounds like your sub or something is triggering some compression and it's bringing down the level of some stuff. And that's why it's sounding kind of muffled here in a couple spots. If we go back to the beginning. You can kind of hear that at some points it feels like the volume is coming down kind of quickly on your mix. That's what's happening. It's your compression. Bring your sub down 5 dB. Bring the cutoff of your whole track up to 50 or even 60 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve. It's a bewildering track. I think Pandemonium is a fun name. It's an accurate name for it. It's like just like constant crossing currents or something. The things that could most help your track sound even better would be EQ, low end management specifically, just kind of shaving off some of the lower frequencies of some of your sounds. And what that's going to do, and even your mid-range sounds, right? Your drum sounds, your leads, they might all have frequencies down low that they don't actually need. And when you do start to get rid of those, everything starts to become a bit more clear in your mix. I think that's probably where I would steer you toward first. Only use a website called Ultrabox. Nothing big like Ableton or FL. So you are making the music on a web tool. The song's name is Nuclear Pandemonium. Yes, yes, yes. I've never heard of it either. I will have to check it out. Ultrabox. Is it fairly new? Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Niwola, see what you made today. It's called Dark Woods. No, it's older. Okay. Boink. Oh, okay. This takes me back to the 90s in a very, very good way. I enjoyed myself a lot of different jam bands, 90s. And one of my favorite side projects, spin-off projects to go see whenever they came to town was something called Project 2. They're a spin-off of King Crimson. And if you're unfamiliar, check them out. There are a few things that in one other thing that you've brought by, it kind of triggered some stuff in my mind of stuff that it reminded me of. I really appreciate your approach. Like the timing of it all is It's just really fantastic. It's just super satisfying to listen to. Super pleasing. I heard one flat note in the middle of this. I have no idea if all of this is recorded live in like one take or if you're doing a bunch of editing. But I will say, great job on how organic and fluid everything feels, because it feels like it's all being performed in a single take. So that's really good. So why did your guitarist quit your band? Trumtize is asking. Wait, hold on a second. What? Was there supposed to be guitar in this thing? Kit is called Organic Calfskin Kit, and the bass is ample bass. It's good. It's good. It's got a nice feel to it, man. It's like it's the timbre of the palette is really good, but it's the performance that's really great stuff. Sorry to hear about your missing guitarist. Guy walked out into the woods and never came back. Heaven. T65. Hegan21 says, this one makes me want to open a high-end fashion store in Berlin. Little model runway in the middle of your store, perhaps. Oh, this was fun. I like it. I like the throb, solid industrial energy, the rattle. It seems like perhaps it needs to be shifted to the right a little bit more because it's seeming rather persistent kind of in the middle. It's moving, but it seems like a lot of the time it's ending up right around here in my stereo field, probably just because of the rhythm of the pan and the rhythm of the device itself, right, or the instrument itself. So I would suggest two things: moving it to the right, and then the other thing would be to unsync it and just take it just slightly off filter. So it just barely misses the mark every once in a while and then syncs up, and then it kind of barely misses the mark for a bit and then it syncs up. It'll probably feel really, really nice. Give you an extra little push and pull feel. It's always dope in a dub song. Yo, you guys brought some great stuff today. You did. Some good stuff. Zane says, I could post one more song in the Discord. Very curious to see how you react to it. I just feel like I'm advertising too much. Zane, if you want to put one in there, you can. And then we're going to raid. So I want to know, who should we go raid? Who is up? Who is streaming today? Anybody good? Anybody fun? Don't go anywhere. Let's go find someone. See, Shoes, Tap Daddy, or Stereo. Not many. Who else is up? Who else is streaming? Looks at Hegan21's ID and gives Tyler Durden speech. If you're not well on your way to opening a high-end fashion store in Berlin within a year. Oh, man. Who is streaming right now? Hegan, are you posting that one or no? Because... wow, look at the size of that synth right there, huh? Get a little background noise in here while we're trying to figure out where we're going. All right, back to here. There we go. This magic spoon will taste better than any meal we've ever eaten. Oh my goodness. And an oft misunderstood movie. I don't know where we're going. I think it might just be Shoes. I think we're probably just going to go visit Shoes. Listen to some chill tracks here. We'll be back on Monday, you guys, in just a couple days' time. I'm going to go ahead and start this raid. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay inspired. Hope you make some really cool stuff. Come back next week. I'll be making dope stuff all week long. I'll see you on the flip. Peace out.
And I'll explain a little bit about the history.